Over the years, the academia and the practitioners in the Nigerian media industry have argued that of the major problems facing indigenous language in Nigeria, the choice of English as a major language of the media, which invariably relegates the local languages to the background, is in the forefront. This situation, many observed, does not augur well for a country endowed with thousands of indigenous languages and a high rate of illiteracy. It is for this reason that broadcasters, media practitioners, and budding journalists converged to be part of an orientation seminar put together by the Freelance and Independent Broadcasters Association of Nigeria, Fiban. Fiban, which is made up of independent producers, presenters, newsreaders, newscasters, and radio and television, was formed 16 years ago. The seminar brought together practitioners from radio and television stations across Nigeria. It was held at the LCCI Alausa Ikeja on Wednesday, 22nd March 2017. Also in attendance were high-profile media personalities, among them the National President of Fiban, Comrade Desmond Nwachukwu, Chairman Chief Executive Officer, Biscan Communications, Prince Bisi Olatilo, Chairman Lagos State Chapter of NIPR, Comrade Olusegun McMiddle, Chairman Lagos State Chapter of Fiban, Dr. Yomi Mate, Chairman Training and Orientation Committee Fiban, Otumba Olatokunbo Aderiokun Babs Olumide, and a representative of the Chairman of the NUJ, Comrade Alfred Odifa. Other national officers of Fiban were in attendance at the seminar and orientation program. The event kicked off with an illuminating and reassuring welcome address by the Chairman Training and Orientation Committee, Otumba Olatokunbo Aderiokun Babs Olumide, who was described by the moderators as a woman with the heart of a man. In her address, she urged broadcasters and other media practitioners to reinvent themselves in order to remain relevant in the media industry, as the proliferation of radio and TV stations across Nigeria and the advent of the internet and social media has brought about stiff competition in the media industry. She added that freelance broadcasters are less creative today than they were in the past. She observed that competition is stiffer and foreign contents are encroaching the Nigerian media landscape.
With few radio and TV stations around, times were rosier and business was more booming for freelance and independent broadcasters than today, when there was supposed to be boundless opportunities with proliferation of radio and TV stations here and there. I like to recall times of Benga Adeboye, Toba Opaleye, Kola Olawi, all of blessed memory, on the airwaves in Yoruba-speaking states, how they had firm grip on their respective audiences, the kind of impacts each made on the society at large, and the quality as well as the volume of corporate adverts and paid announcements each of their program attracted. Are freelance and independent broadcasters less creative these days? Are they less hardworking? Is competition stiffer today than it used to be? Is the audience now more attracted to foreign content? Is the economy less favorable? What exactly is missing today?
Otumba Olatokunbo Aderiokun Babs Olumide also acknowledged the fact that Fiban couldn't have brought a better guest speaker than a man who is qualified, experienced, and competent in the broadcasting industry, Prince Bisi Olatilo, Chairman, CEO, Biscan Communications, owners and operators of Biscan Television, to do justice to the topic in focus: maximizing indigenous language in the 21st century broadcasting.
There is the need for us as freelance and independent broadcasters to reinvent ourselves as individuals. There is a grave issue at hand to address by Fiban as professional body, and that informed the idea behind today's event, particularly the topic for discussion: maximizing indigenous language in 21st century broadcasting, which our distinguished speaker, Prince Bisi Olatilo, the Chairman, CEO, Biscan Communication, is, by all definition, qualified, competent, and experienced enough to treat excellently well. I want to assure everyone present that by the time our distinguished speaker finished imparting knowledge to us from his wealth of experience, versatility, and know-how, we would all be glad we attended this event. I welcome you all once again. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all.
The chairman of the occasion, Director Radio Services, Dar Communications PLC, a renowned media practitioner, a professional TV and radio presenter on 5G FM, Ambrose Shomide, also took time to eulogize Prince Bisi Olatilo, the chairman, Biskin Communications, whom he described as a media guru, a veteran broadcaster with over 40 years' experience, who has contributed immensely to the growth of the media industry. A third-generation broadcaster who has reinvented himself and remained relevant in the industry over the decades.
An experienced hand, one who has been through the whoop and woof of broadcasting in Nigeria, and one who speaks so many languages and is so good in the so many languages that he speaks. I recall when he was starting out, the Bisi Olatilo show that you have on here today was not the original concept. But over the years, he has continued to reinvent himself so that he can continue to remain relevant in the Nigeria of today and Nigeria of the future, and of course, the world that we live in now, because Bisi Olatilo show is not only seen in Nigeria, but seen across the globe. He is someone that has continued to support us as a body and has not discriminated. How can you remain relevant, and how can you tap into search to make sure that you remain relevant? How can you expand your market? How can you expand yourself? Do you still see yourself as a local champion? Maybe in a remote village in somewhere in Ogun State. As long as you have people calling to tell you, I'm enjoying you, we're enjoying you, you feel you're on top of the world, whereas you can do more. And that's why it is important for us to have trainings like these going forward, so that we can expand our knowledge, address our weaknesses, improve our skills and knowledge, improve our performances, ensure consistency in what we do, consistent experience, and be up to date with development in the industry.
Members of the association and sponsors of the event took turns to render their goodwill messages. The general manager, Blackface Media and Online Radio, Mrs. Sondadada, encouraged media practitioners to embrace social media tools and platforms like blogging, as they'll do better with information dissemination using these tools.
Take it or leave it, the coming of the social media has virtually reduced the reliance on the freelance journalists in the modern day journalism, whereby everyone using the social media today have become a freelance journalist. The potency of the social media is so strong that the sport news is instantly disseminated on the social media, complete with stories and pictures. They are faster than the newspapers. I'm sure a lot of us here, when we wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is to go online. The first thing we do is to read our newspapers online. That is the trend now everywhere. Even the newspapers now will tell you they are making their money and adverts through online. We need to make use of the social media more than ever now. If freelance journalists come into social media, the right kind of news will begin to be disseminated. The touch of professionalism will begin to reflect, especially in the areas of writing and even pictures on the social media.
The event was formally declared open by the national president of Fiban, Mr. Desmond Nwachukwu. He took time to recognize and appreciate his mentor, Dr. Oluta Shomide, reiterating the importance of Fiban in Nigeria's media industry. He said no media house can run effectively without freelance and private broadcasters, because they are the real content providers in the Nigerian media industry.
Because I know that quite a number of our people do not appreciate the fact that we are professionals in our own right. We give people the opportunity to look down on us. And so we need to begin to tell ourselves the truth. Fiban is not a group of people who are nitwits. Like my Oga said, a lot of people see us from that perspective. We are professionals. Gone are the days that we're going to be looked down on by staff of radio or TV stations. The simple economics principle that I was taught in secondary school made me know that the client is the king. No radio or TV station can effectively operate without us. We are the content providers. Some of us are even more red than those people that push you around when you go to their stations. You should ensure that henceforth you get to appreciate your worth, because except you know your worth, people will continue to price you less.
That section of the event also witnessed the pronouncement of the chairman CEO Biscon Communications, Prince Bisi Olachilo, as the grand patron of Fiban, adding that he will be officially decorated at a later date. The first lecture was delivered by Comrade Olusegun Macmedal, a public relations expert and chairman, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations (NPIR), Lagos State Chapter. In the lecture, Mr. Macmedal appraised the relationship between public relations and broadcasting. He said PR is a meticulously planned process of action that thrives on relationship. He also stated that the point of convergence between PR and broadcasting is that both practitioners are jacks of all trade and masters of some. He concluded his address by saying that PR and broadcasting are being disrupted by social media. Therefore, PR and broadcasting must act faster and do the needful.
Public interest supersedes all. In the interest of the public, we must do our jobs in an ethical manner. In conclusion, PR practice and broadcasting are being transformed by the ongoing disruptive technologies. The rules of engagement are changing faster than ever before. To remain relevant, PR industry and broadcast journalists must evolve faster by keeping in touch with and reacting proactively to new developments in the market. Lastly, the digitization of broadcast media in Nigeria is a welcome development and it should be embraced. Thank you very much.
The second lecture by Dr. Olutayo Shomide was tagged Common Mistakes in Presentation. He emphasized on music alignment and usage. He emphatically stated that what the new generation of broadcasters lack is preparedness for presentation. According to him, they rely so much on their past successes, which many times fail them. He added that it's important to be abreast with events globally by the minute. Dr. Olutayo Shomide stated that broadcasters must imbibe the attitude of reading, watching programs, and listening to the news. Life, according to him, is about preparation. He also stressed on the benefits of honesty and integrity in the broadcasting business.
Ambrose Shomide Bisi Olatilo can be your role model. You want to see what they do. You want to replicate what they do. You want to be a broadcaster of repute like them. But don't mimic Bisi Olatilo's voice. Don't do what Bisi Olatilo is doing. Many careers have been destroyed, not only in broadcasting, even in entertainment, through copycatism. You can never be the best of something that you are copying. As long as the original still lives, even if the original is gone, to replicate him, people will continue to judge you and rate you based on the standard of that person. So as presenters on your local stations or whatever station, know what other stations are doing when you are on air. Get your officers, your men to record them and do workshop yourself. The fact that you have Perfection Real Estate on your program does not mean your program is popular. Broadcasting today is based on audience research. The number of ears that are listening and the number of eyeballs. But the fact that the man has remained on your program could be due to personal relationship. The day he is wise enough to know that you are not delivering the audience, that is the day he will leave. Let me just round it off. There are other issues, but let me just stop here. Thank you very much.
The highlight of the event was when the chairman CEO of Biscon Communications, owners and operators of Biscone Television, Prince Bisi Olatilo, mounted the podium to deliver his lecture with the theme Maximizing Indigenous Language in 21st Century Broadcasting. First, he took time to congratulate Fiban for the thoughtful initiative in organizing the training and orientation seminar for budding broadcasters. Prince Bisi Olatilo enumerated the importance of indigenous languages in broadcasting and called on media practitioners to reinvent, retool, re-engineer and align their thoughts with the realities of the 21st century broadcasting. This is in order to make them remain relevant and competitive in their trade. According to him, as we cannot overemphasize the fact that we're in a globalized, rapidly changing ICT-driven knowledge world, it is high time for practitioners to stand out distinctly. The compelling necessity of the moment with the emergence of the social media, which is in fierce competition with the traditional media, is that we must not treat this threat with kid gloves. Prince Bisi Olatilo stated that for practitioners to remain on top of their game, they must be ready to equip themselves with appropriate skills and competences to operate as frontliners in the knowledge-based economy.
One cannot overemphasize the fact that indigenous language is a very powerful tool through which majority of the populace in every section of the society can be carried along with issues of development and how to move the country forward, and the need to forge a much closer relationship among ourselves, devoid of mutual suspicion and ethno-religious contempt for one another. As Nigeria migrates from the analog mode of broadcasting to the digital format to join the rest of the developed world, it will certainly be a boom time for broadcasters, especially content providers, and a rare opportunity for them to put their best creativity foot forward, so to speak. More television channels will hit the airwaves to complement the existing ones across Nigeria. The beautiful bride in this circumstance are the viewers, who the television stations must do their best to satisfy in terms of programs that teach very useful lessons that will add value to the time of the viewers.
Most importantly, as Nigeria migrates from the analog mode of broadcasting to the digital format to join the rest of the developed world, it will certainly be a boom time for broadcasters, especially content providers, and a real opportunity for them to put their best creative foot forward. In conclusion, Prince Bisi Olatilo sounded a serious note of warning to practitioners, especially those who operate on the internet and social media space, that caution should be the watchword.
Members of the Freelance and Independent Broadcasters Association of Nigeria, Fiban, who constitute an integral part of the content providers, will be engaged to discharge the various chores in terms of programming of all these stations. Therefore, they should endeavor at all times to keep to the age-long tenets and ethics of broadcasting: zero tolerance for sensationalism, objective reporting without fear or favor, utmost non-partisan restraint must be exercised by practitioners in religious, ethnic, or political issues to avoid inflaming passions and stoking a breakdown of law and order in their reportage. Now at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to pay a well-deserved homage to the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, the bastion of broadcasting in Nigeria today, for the establishment of Radio Nigeria 3, the Wazobia station, Christian the People's Station, the multifaceted Nigerian indigenous languages radio station, Radio 3, which I had the singular privilege of midwifing in the 80s, broadcast programs like news, sports, requests, all in the indigenous languages of Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, and Pidgin. And this was throughout the nooks and crannies of Lagos metropolis, and in fact beyond. The theme of today's lecture that I've been saddled with, maximizing indigenous language in 21st century broadcasting, the genesis and evolution of indigenous language in the broadcasting space of Nigeria, should be properly diagnosed and put in proper perspectives. The incursion of indigenous language into the lexicon of broadcasting in Nigeria dates back to the origin of broadcasting itself, with the Western Nigeria Broadcasting Service, WNBS, Northern Nigeria Broadcasting Service, NNBS, Eastern Nigeria Broadcasting Service, ESBS, and the Midwest, respectively. If we get our bearings right as far as the effective use of indigenous language is concerned, national unity, which we all have craved for all the years, will be achieved. Nigeria will be united. There'll be a peaceful, there'll be coexistence among people. This will douse the tension created by those who have been agitating for the reconstruction of the basis of our existence, what some will call restructuring.
The fourth and final lecture was delivered by Mr. Shola Olaniyan, the Director, Wikipedia Nigeria Limited, on social media and broadcasting, prospects and opportunities. Mr. Shola Olaniyan, Director, Wikipedia Nigeria Limited, stressed the need for broadcasters and media practitioners in Nigeria to embrace the move with the changing trend in the industry today. He described broadcasters as content custodians. Mr. Shola Olaniyan further encouraged media practitioners to contribute to the Wikipedia revolution in the Wikipedia Local Content Revolution, which is aimed at boosting the use and collection of information about Africans.
Jimmy Wales believes in his own thought that the sum of all human knowledge should be made available to everybody freely. There shouldn't be restriction. When you need information, it should not be hoarded out. A lot of people are keeping information from a lot of us. They are putting so much price on information that many of us don't have access to. Now, Oyinbo people, after knowing that information is free, they make sure that internet is so difficult for us to access, so that you and I will not have access to information. And now when internet is now available, a lot of us are doing ourselves a lot of undoings but not contributing. Wikipedia is there for you and I. You can go there, check the information that relates to Nigeria. I just mentioned now. You can just say category : Nigerian broadcasters on your Google. You see this list. They are there, but many of us are not aware.
Next was the question and answer session by members of the audience. And this was a veritable avenue for the chairman and CEO of Biscom Communications, Prince Bisi Olatilo, and Dr. Oluta Ashomide, chairman of the occasion, and Director Radio Services, Dark Communications PLC, to shed more light on a wide range of issues and provide answers to them. There was also a side attraction by Perfection Real Estate Investors Cooperative Society. The executive officer of the company enlightened the audience on how to make money from the real estate industry. This was followed immediately by the cutting of the cake and a photo session as the event came to a final close.
Hello.
Biscom Communications, producers of the Bisi Olatilo Show and owners of Biscom Television, heartily congratulates Fiban, the Freelance Independent Broadcasters Association of Nigeria, for that great leap in properly positioning the body.